If I've looked back and remembered anything this week, it's that you whack, you twisted, you girl a hoe, you broke, the kid ain't yours, and everybody knows. Your old man say you're stupid, and you be like, so, I love my baby mother, I never let her go. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update as tax day has finally arrived. You know what? I had a lot of people be like, hey, well, tax day actually got delayed this year. Like, they could, one-up me on this or something like that. Yes, but when you work for a business who still wants to follow the same schedule that they have laid out for the entire year, you proceed with business as usual. So there we go, guys. More tax talk to open up a weekly update. But guys, lots of things been going on this week. I have been very, very busy, and I think that's been kind of reflected in the content output this week. But I can't go a week by without giving you guys a weekly update. Let's do like usual. Let's kick things off with what am I reading? Guys, I finished Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and oh my God, this was good. This was really good. I think this is one of those where had a lot of hype going in. I had a lot of people saying, oh yeah, it's very Michael Crichtonish. And I'm like, well, slow down there. You're kind of setting the bar a little high. Met it and exceeded it. This is a fantastic book. I recommend it to everyone. I can't wait to do a full review for it because there are so many things to unpack with this. I think that this is the most Michael Crichton book not written by Michael Crichton ever. That is a very, very apt comparison. And you guys know, coming from me, a Crichton maniac, that is very high praise. So yeah, with Blake Crouch, I'm going to read Recursion not right now, next, as his books. I'm going to read Recursion next, make sure he's not a one-hit wonder, and then I'll consider doing the Wayward Pines trilogy that a lot of other people have recommended. But very, very pleasant surprise. I mean, not really, because everyone was telling me, 99.9% of people were saying that this book was very, very good. It was going to be something that I loved, and yeah, this was just superb. I can't say enough about it, and it's going to give Hyperion a run for its money for Book of the Month for April. I'm thinking, guys, it was really that good. So what was I going to do after that? Well, guys, today I picked up Artificial Condition. That's Murderbot number 2. You know what I said? I said, nah. I need some Mallywhacker in my eyes, and I went ahead and said, let's go ahead and kick into Memories of Ice. Guys, a lot of FOMO going on. I'm hosting a read-along for Malaz on this channel. I think everyone knows at this point. But I had FOMO. I had FOMO about my own read-along. So I went ahead and said, I'm going to pick up Memories of Ice and go ahead and start about a week or so early. And it wasn't going to take me a week to finish Murderbot anyway. It was just, I read 2 sci-fi books in a row, and I was like, I want to go back to that crazy, crazy world that Mr. Erickson has made. Now, I'm about on chapter 5, which, as you guys know, it's not even a dent in a book like this. Yeah, this book is monstrous because, it's been reading it for 24 hours now, and I'm like on page 122, and look at that, 122, and look how much it is. It's just a big old book. But it kind of confused me at first because people have been telling me since I started this read-along, oh yeah, the prologue. The prologue is the best prologue in the entire series. You're going to love it. It's going to blow you away. And I read it, and I was like, huh? Yeah, I literally read the prologue twice in a row before I started chapter 1. So it does its usual thing that you have when you go through Malazan books is you're spending so much time being like, I don't really get it. That's still happening. It's still happening very much. But I do feel like this is why I can see why so many people are kind of flying through it rather quick. Because it's like, you get to like the bridge burner stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun. I'm having a good time. Then you get to like Elder Gods and Bone Casters and stuff, and it's like, yeah. So typical Steven Erickson, right? But it's off to a good start. I like where it's headed. I like some of the answers I'm getting already. But I'm very, very intrigued by those questions that I'm getting in this. But yeah, it's a good start, and I can't wait to keep doing that. And that takes me into what am I going to read now? Obviously, guys, for Memories of Ice is going to be it for the foreseeable future. I mean, like I said, look, that's as far as I am into this. I have this schedule for the rest of April. And what I've said with these books is I'm going to take my time. I'm going to reread sections and things like that. So yeah, I'm giving myself at least 2 weeks here just to get through this. I look back at it, and I'm like, Guardians of the Moon took about, 10 days. Dead House Gates took 2+ weeks. I'm not imagining this won't take just as long, and I'm fine with that. That's kind of the way that I've worked my schedule out, because I don't want to rush these books. Because a lot of people I've noticed have felt like it's a race to see who could finish this book first. Like on the Discord, I feel like people were trying to finish this book in like 3 days just to prove they could. when you got to talk about as much of these books as I got to talk about, I want to make sure that I understand, because there's nothing worse than embarrassing yourself when the author himself is watching these videos. So I want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence and taking my time, and I'm enjoying the universe. So I'm going to take my time. Then after I finish, before I dive into the rest of the stuff I've got planned in May, I will go ahead and pick up that Murderbot book. I had a lot of people being like, "Whoa, you DNF'd it already." No, it was like I wasn't wild about that first book. I'm not really confident that this book is going to change my mind on it. But again, I feel like these are small. I mean, this is like my kid's got books in his room that are heavier reads than this. So I feel like I can take the gamble with that. I am hoping that I really start to dig it more in this book, because I have committed to reading at least the first 4, because that's the ones that viewers have bought me, and I definitely don't want to put the series aside after they've spent their time and money to get these things to me. And then we'll be digging into the multiverse again with Mr. Stephen King. You might have heard of him. 4 Past Midnight. This is 4 short stories, not short stories, 4 novellas. I always see short stories, but the short story collections are like 12 pages. These are obviously more. Langoliers, Library Policeman, Sundog, and Secret Garden, Secret Window. This will be the first time I've revisited some of these since high school, so that'll be a lot of fun. I think this is kind of one of his more underrated novella collections. I feel like everyone knows about Different Seasons, and I don't think it's on the same level as Different Seasons, but it's setting up shop on the same block, I think, and that should be everything kind of taken care of, everything that we're going to do for the next few weeks, I think. I probably won't be getting to that till May. Like I said, I'm pretty sure Memories of Ice is going to take me a little while. Now let's talk about this week on the channel, guys. Yes, it was a very bad week. Bad week. Sorry I wasn't able to entertain you guys more than usual. This is the first night I have recorded since last week's weekly update, because I recorded some other things ahead. And it's just been a wild week. And I told you guys it was going to be that. I thought last night, I could go ahead and try to force out that Assassin's Quest review. And I was like, look, I would rather just not record than give you guys low energy, boring, mail-it-in content. That's the kind of the way I feel about it. I feel like quality over quantity here. I'm not one of those people who's trying to show out, yeah, I'm goal-oriented, and I say I'm going to do 3 videos in a week, plus a weekly update. I try to stick to that. But, yeah, I'd rather just not do it than give you guys, lackluster content. So that's just kind of the personal way that I feel about it. I put out 2 videos this week. Both of them went over pretty well. First was my 2-year anniversary on BookTube, and where I gave answered some FAQs I get, and the biggest question I get a lot is just people emailing me, messaging me stuff, hey, I'm just getting started. I'm starting to get discouraged. Is there any advice that you could give me? And what I said was, look, I don't consider myself some runaway success or something, but these are the things that work for me, and I think that they're the things, through feedback that I've gotten, that people and viewers really, really appreciate. And so that's kind of what that video was. It was a lot of fun, and reading the overwhelmingly positive comments, really, right here, guys, I do appreciate that. I love hearing how long people had been here on the channel, how they discovered the channel, things like that. And I'm not going to lie, guys, it's nice when you hear people say how much your channel means to them. That means the world to me. To hear that it means the world to you. That's awesome. When I first started doing this, something that I read somewhere, it was like, you always got to remember that someone out there, you're their favorite YouTube channel. I was like, yeah, okay. Maybe I am at this point, Hey, that would be really awesome. But even if not, as long as you guys are here, that's all I care about. And I was really wanting to do more of a thank you as opposed to like a victory lap. Because, I wouldn't be doing this if you guys weren't watching. And then more fluffy content. I did my... kind of my series that I want to do in 2022 and beyond. And, obviously I've talked about some of the ones in 2022. I've got the 5 Warrior Angels. I've got Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn lined up, ready to go in 2022. The rest of it's just kind of open. And I talked about those series. Don't know when they're going to happen, but they should be happening in 2022. And then the Beyond was after the Malazan read-along. That's why I'm going to get into my heavier series, like A Black Company, like A Prince of Nothing, things like that. And again, just a lot of fun to look forward to those series, talk about series that I don't get to talk about very much on here. That's kind of why I do it. It's more of I want to put like a spotlight on this series that I'm not going to be touching for a while. And I kind of want to hear what you guys think about it. And yes, there are still some that people were upset I didn't put on there, and I'm like, guys, I am just one person. I can't read everything that everyone wants me to all at once. I wish I could. I really do. I really wish that damn cloning software would finally show up in the mail, but it just has not yet. But yeah, that's all I did this week, guys. Like I said, I had it lined up. I was going to record that Assassin's Quest video last night, and I was just like, I'm going to be the most boring, droning. I'm going to sound like, well, I don't want to mention any names. But anyway, let's talk about some next week plans. So since I've been kind of just taking a break here, next week and the week after, we're really going to be getting into some hardcore reviews again. There's not going to be any fluffy content. It's going to be straight. I try to get at least one review out per week. Yeah, I'm kind of backed up now. So there's going to be a plethora of just reviews coming out. Next week, it's all going to start with Assassin's Quest, obviously. I know that there are some people who are not looking forward to this one because it is the first one in the realm of the Elderlings that I was not super positive on. And I'm going to talk about why. And you guys know me. I'm not just going to sit there and crap on something. I'm going to give the reasons why I didn't care for it. And you know what? I'm going to talk about the things that did work for me in that book, and that's fine. That's fine. I think it's, I'm always going to be honest with you guys. You know that. Then I'll be doing my review of Hyperion, a book I've been waiting so long to read, and not only did it meet expectations, guys, it exceeded them. And I've had some time to sleep on it, and I'm not ready to knock it past Ender's Game yet as my second favorite sci-fi novel ever, but it's right there, man. I think Dune, Hyperion, and Ender's Game. Obviously, Dune's locked at number 1, and then 2 and 3 are kind of fighting it out there. You know, they're having like a little knife fight off in the back there, and Dune's just sitting there like, you know, just kind of being the judge. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. I can't wait to talk about it. It'll be non-spoiler. If you guys want to talk spoilers about it, jump in the Discord. We've talked spoilers about it all week. But I'll talk about each of the tales, what I liked about them, and then I'm going to rank the tales for myself as I do that review. And then lastly, guys, since I first started doing Into the Multiverse on this channel for Stephen King, I have been anticipating when I got to the Tommyknockers review. Yes, Tommyknockers. This is one that that book is just a mad pile of cocaine and period blood. It is insane, batshit crazy book. It's just kind of a look through the lens of King at the peak of his substance abuse, and it really showing through in his writing. So it's one I've wanted to talk about for a while because that book is just a green nightmare. It is insane. I can't wait to talk about it, and I hope it meets my personal expectations for as much as I've built it up as I've been doing this series. But that should be it for next week. I might have one small one in there. I don't know. We will see how the week goes. But those 3, I guarantee I will be getting out next week. Now, guys, there are a couple of TV, movie, and even some music stuff here I'm going to talk about. But TV and music talk. TV and movie talk. What did I do with this extra time where I wasn't recorded? Well, I decided I was going to watch a couple of things that I hadn't gotten a chance to watch before. The first one was Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is a movie that people have been telling me for years was going to be right up my alley. And I have to say that might be almost as weird of a movie as Tommyknockers is as a book. I mean, it was completely strange. But I want to give credit to Edgar Wright for doing the Edgar Wright thing and going for it. I mean, that movie was so bananas and so over-the-top ridiculous that it's kind of hard not to like it, really. I mean, it was just so absurd. It was like a live-action video game. It really was. And it didn't stop to tell you at the beginning that, hey, yeah, this is where we're going with this. This is where we're headed, and you're just along for the ride. It didn't stop and hold your hand and try to explain anything to you at all. It just did its own thing. And I think that's something that Edgar Wright's always kind of done. It's just kind of done what he wants. And it really makes me sad to think about the Ant-Man movie we might have got if Marvel Studios hadn't been such jerks and let him make the movie that he wanted to make. I think it could have been just so much better than what we actually got. But, hey, it is what it is. I'll always be a fan of his movies. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, that was just a wild, wild movie. I really don't know what to say. I know I'm really late to the party on that one. But, yeah, better late than never. I saw it was leaving Netflix at the end of the month. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and watch this before it's gone. And I'll probably never watch it. And then off the recommendation of a lot of people, I finally decided, you know what? I'll just check out this Schitt's Creek. It's Schitt's Creek. It's so hard not to just say like Shit Creek, up a Shit Creek. Schitt's Creek on Netflix, originally on Pop in Canada. I've been reading a little more about it. Now, look, I have been a Eugene Levy fan for decades, and we're talking before he was Jim's dad on American Pie, all the way back to that movie with John Candy and Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah where she was the mermaid. It was called Splash. You guys remember that? Don't watch it on Disney Plus. They've edited it, bastards. But yeah, I've loved him ever since then. So anything with Eugene Levy is always going to get a try from me, and I knew that this series was written by him and his real life son, and I was just like, okay, I'll give it a try just based off of that. First episode, okay. By the end of the third episode, tears. I did not realize Chris Elliott was in this. I love Chris Elliott. I've loved him since he was doing just, writing for the Letterman show in the 80s. So if someone had sold me on, hey, it's Eugene Levy and Chris Elliott, I probably would have watched it a lot earlier than I did. But I just kind of binging through it now. It was kind of funny watching my wife's reaction to it. At first, she was kind of like, this isn't that funny. By the end of that first night, she's kind of laughing out loud. And then the next morning, she's like, I think I really like that show. So we're already about midway through the second season. I imagine we're probably just going to 20-minute episodes. We're just kind of burning through it real fast. But you guys know I try not to get political on the channel here at all. And I'm not really trying to here. I'm just saying I think that what they have done, the writing team on there, has done with the character David should be the roadmap for all characters like that going forward. And for those who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So well done, completely normalized. It's not a big deal, no big after-school special moments, nothing like that. Bravo, you guys are awesome. And David, you know what? Best character on the show. And it's amazing when I talk about how much I love Eugene Levy and how much I love Chris Elliott. And his kid is my favorite character on the show because he's just phenomenal. But that whole cast is just great. I love them. And I mean, you really are. Your sides are hurting from laughing each episode. Now, I did want to talk about some music stuff here. And yes, you might want to ask your parents about these. These were called CDs. But by now, most of you probably know about the passing of the rap artist DMX. Now, for me, guys, look, in high school and right after high school, everyone was real big into Tupac and Biggie and Jay-Z and Ja Rule and Master P and Bone Thugs and all that stuff, even some Eminem there for a while. You know what? I dabbled in all those. I liked those. But I always felt like it was kind of like an in-the-moment kind of thing because I'd listen to it, I'd soak it all up for a while, and then I'd kind of move on. It never really just like stuck with me. DMX has been in my constant rotation for 25 years. When I was a very young man, I got Dark. It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. And these two albums were like, holy shit to me. Because look, guys, I grew up on 2 Live Crew and NWA, Dr. Dre, and Ice Cube. All those rap artists I mentioned over there, they never quite had that bite that I wanted, that anger, that real frustration that you could hear coming through in someone like DMX or someone like an Ice Cube or Dre. X really just always just he had an edge to it, had a bite to it that always just kind of stuck with me. You're just kind of sometimes you're just like angry, you just want to listen to something just like it's almost like the rap version of like listening to Pantera, like some heavy metal or something, And so I always just kind of gravitated towards him. And I got all of his albums here, and obviously I've been doing like a really big listening party this week. But again, it never really left my rotation. I would say at least once or twice a year, I'd go through every album and listen to every song. And I'm not like a hits guy with DMX. I'm in every song on every album. I love his fast stuff. I love his soulful stuff. I love his prayers, all the stuff on there. I think he had one of the greatest rap voices I ever heard. And I love a rapper who will bark at me. So it's always been something that kind of like my wife was like, oh, you're listening to this again, huh? But it's so good. And I mean, it's just another thing where it's like in the same year I lost Eddie Van Halen, one of my favorite guitar players ever. Now I've lost my personal favorite rap artist of all time. But what I said, just like with him, is what though? It's going to live on in this music ever and forever. And I think that is the best legacy that anyone could really ask for. And it's just one of those things that's, it's... You don't realize how much you really appreciate an artist or a creator until they're gone. You're just like, wow, that's really been just such a big part of my life. Ever since I was just barely out of being a teenager, I was introduced to DMX and just absolutely soaked it up. And I would say gone too soon. But I mean, I guess it wasn't really a surprise. We knew he had been sick for a while and been in and out of the hospital. But, it still always sucks. So, I just want to kind of give a mention here of how big of a fan I was of X and will continue to be going forward. I really don't know what else to say except if you've never really discovered the man, now is the perfect time to go back and look. Hit him up on Spotify. Check out his YouTube Vivo, something like that. Even if you're just listening to the edited versions on your Alexa. I don't like to say it because you'll start playing. But, one of the best, one of the greatest, one of my personal favorites. And he will definitely be missed. So, guys, what was your week like? You listening to any DMX? What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you playing? Drop in the comments and let me know, and have yourselves an awesome weekend.